Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. You are here with Shay Renee Online, where we discuss food, fitness, and reality TV. All right, so today we're going to talk about The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 12, titled Reasonable for Shady. Okay? So the episode kicks off with Giselle talking to Robin about their Reasonably Shady podcast party gathering that they're going to be doing at Giselle's house. And Giselle says to Robin, you know what? I want to have everybody over, but I really just don't want Wendy. I really don't, still not cool with Karen even after she apologized. And, I'm just really not fooling with Wendy either. And I don't want them using my bathroom. So they can come over here, but they can't use the bathroom. So Robin says to Giselle, I guess since she's supposed to be reasonably in the part of the Shady podcast, and she says, well, I'm not coming over there if that's what you're going to be doing, because that's doing too much. Like, you got to let them use the bathroom. That's just ridiculous, okay? So Giselle says, all right, fine, I'll let the little heifers use the bathroom. It is what it is. And I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? Why would you ever let anybody come over your house and then they don't have anywhere to use the bathroom? You do understand that your house is under construction right now and you walk around outside all the time doing projects and things. So let's say someone had to take a dump outside of your house. What are you going to do? You going to let them take a dump outside your house? No, you're not going to do that. So I don't even know why that was even brought up as an option, because it didn't make any sense. So anyway, moving right along. The next scene shows Karen at her house with her publicist. The candles come, and she discusses with her publicist how Wendy's candle is coming out too, and how she's using an e-commerce platform which she thinks is really going to work for her, and how she feels like there's enough room on the market for everybody. Like, there's so many different types of candles, which is true, because there's 11,000 candles on the market, and Wendy and Karen doing a candle at the same daggone time is not even going to make a difference. I probably can walk around my house and I can pick up 6 different candles that I have in my house. So it's enough room on the market for both of them. And hopefully, Wendy doesn't really find any malice behind what Karen is doing, because it honestly seems like, because Karen is so far along in the process, that she actually was doing a candle before Wendy even thought of it. So there's really no room for Wendy to be mad at her. But moving right along, Karen and Ray go outside, and Karen sees that somebody has texted Ray, and she's like, who's texting us? So she takes a look at Ray's phone and sees apparently it's some young woman has texted Ray. And so she calls the phone number back. She's like, listen, this is Mrs. Ray Huger, and we are getting ready to celebrate our 25th anniversary. So Karen is calling little chickadee, saying, listen, ain't the well has run dry over here. All the coins that are to be made are in my pocket. Okay, so ain't no gold digging going on in the Huger household. Okay, so you can lose this number, because this well has run dry for any new young things. I'm the only pretty young thing PYT running up and through here. Okay, so Ray says, don't tell her my full name. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on with the Hugers? But I thought that was really cute how they both kind of played it off, and Karen didn't really make too much of a big deal out of it. She said what she had to say, she hung up, and they moved on. So in the next scene, Candace's mother Dorothy is still at her house, and they discuss her being, Candace playfully says, you a video girl now, you was all up in the videos, doing all the moves and things, moving and shaking. And Candace says, in her confessional, because her mom was saying, yeah, we got a lot done since I've been here, and maybe you should do a gold backsplash. And Candace is like, I ain't doing no gold backsplash, that's for old people. And her mom says, well, I have a gold backsplash. Are you trying to say I'm old? Okay. But anyway, Candace in her confessional says, Dot has to go. She has been here literally for 9 days. She got to go. I want my mama to go the hell home. She ain't got to go home, but she got to get the hell up out of here. Okay. Now, everybody, as a daughter, especially the oldest daughter, yeah, moms can be a little annoying, but we love them still the same. So moving right along, Candace asked her mom, what was, she kind of asked her mom what was being said when apparently Mia had come over to her and said some things and asked her some questions about their personal finances, her and Chris. And then she's like, well, what was Mia saying? And what were you saying back to her? And her mom was like, well, I don't remember what was said, and I don't know what I said, but I don't think she had any, malice behind anything that she was doing. Which her mama knew good and god daggone well that she didn't want to tell Candace what was said, because she was over there being shady too. So she didn't want to say what Mia said, because then she would have to communicate what she said in response. So therefore, amnesia is afoot. Okay. So Chris walks in the door. And he like, oh Lord, he can feel the steam. Like, I done walked up in the middle of some bullshit. So he's like, all right, what y'all in here talking about? Real awkward like. And Candace says, well, Mia was talking about our finances at my video shoot, and I don't appreciate it. And I just asked my mother over here, what was said. And so Chris was like, well, she doesn't need to be worried about our finances, because number one, our marriage is protected by, our union. We are together through our marriage certificate. I'm going to always be here for you. And we have a prenuptial agreement as well. So, and I never asked either one of y'all for a dime. So therefore, I don't need to be discussed at all when it comes to money, period. Basically, in a nutshell, what Chris said. So then Candace's mom kind of, I think she was kind of being like all foo-foo with it, but she's like, yeah, you're right, you didn't ask for nothing, like rolling her eyes like, yeah, okay, you didn't ask, but I sure as should good and goddamn well was paying them bills up in that daggone townhouse. So don't try to play like I ain't never did nothing for you, okay? But it is what it is. We gonna go with your little story, Chris, okay? We gonna go with your little story. I ain't physically pay a bill that had your name on it that you asked me to pay, but I have paid bills for you. Let's not get it twisted. But I think what's very important for them to remember in this is because they're talking about Chris being Candace's manager, okay? She's not paying him. This is all on camera, okay? So technically, if Chris, and allegedly, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer by trade at all, but if he was to go to court and say, even though they do have this prenuptial agreement in play, if they were to go to court and he was to say, hey, I was her manager and I wasn't getting paid and I couldn't bring any money in because I was her manager. Perfect example, Mary J. Blige and her husband. I digress. So, Candace, you might want to go ahead and hire you a manager, because if this goes awry with your marriage, it's going to go awry for you and your finances afterwards. So, you might want to protect yourself. I'm just saying. So moving right along, Mia meets with her mom, with the kids, and her husband for ice cream. They discuss how her mom does a lot of things with her sister Christina and Rashida all the time, and she always has to check with her sister Rashida before she can do anything with Mia. And then Mia asked, she said, I remember when we moved to Bethesda and we asked you to be our nanny. You couldn't even be our nanny because you doing all this stuff for Rashida. And you always got to check your schedule to see what you can do with Rashida. And Mia is like, you have other children, meaning me. I feel like, you need to, she basically was kind of telling her mom, listen, I understand that you are doing what you got to do with your other kids, but don't forget about me in the process. And I feel like Mia, she's kind of getting the short end of the stick when it comes to her other siblings, and she's feeling it. And I think she's kind of jealous of the time that her mom spends with her other siblings, and she's just trying to find her way in the midst of her mom's heart, and trying to spend time with her and make sure that her mom gets to know her kids, which I understand that. And so the mom says, listen, I'm here now. I'm trying to do the best that I can. I'm not gonna, just not help your sister. I live with her. I help her with the kids. She depends on me to help her with the kids, but I'm here for you. I'm here. Let's make it do what it do. Okay. So hopefully they can find some middle ground and they can continue to have a relationship and find time for each other, and Mia can stop feeling like she's left out. So Karen and Escala go to Wendy's house and they're stuffing backpacks for educators, and they talk about the Candace's video shoot. So they talk about how, Mia was pretty much talking to Candace's mom, and Wendy was saying that was pretty much immature. That was not mature, and she didn't like how Mia was telling her mom things or asking her questions about their finances. It was inappropriate, and the scholar was like, "Yeah, I didn't think that was appropriate either." And then Wendy was saying how she told Candace what happened, and she just didn't think that was cool. So Karen was like in her confessional, like, I don't really think Mia meant anything by it, but I'm gonna have to talk to her about that because they are over here pretty much pissed about it, and so on and so forth. Then they talk about the invite to Giselle and Robin's little event. So they get the invite and it says, hold on, y'all. The invite says, invite friends and haters to a reasonably shady celebration. Wendy then says, well, who's the hater? Who's hating? I don't get it. But she's like, it's probably a business venture. I'm just kind of trying to put two and two together. But ain't nobody hating on Giselle. They're definitely not doing that. So then she says, well, anyway, we'll see what this event is all about. But moving right along, Wendy then discusses going to the Eastern Shore for a couples trip. So she's like, maybe I'll invite everybody to this couples trip at Giselle's little raggedy ass event. So Giselle and everybody, the next scene shows Giselle at her house hobbling around on one damn foot because apparently she done dropped some shit on her damn foot while she was doing some work in the yard. So that's why God don't like ugly. You trying to tell people they can't use the bathroom? Well, bitch, you can't use your foot, okay? You will have it propped up and perched and not in a heel. And this probably was a tacky heel that she was going to put on anyway, so it don't even matter. So anyway, everyone arrives at the party. Wendy gives Giselle some Moet. Karen gives Giselle a gift set with her candle in it. And then Karen says she got her COVID shot so that she could, basically be around everybody. And then Robin, so she was saying she was feeling a little weird because she had gotten the shot. And, anyway, she was happy to be there. So Robin and Giselle discuss how they got the name of their podcast, basically saying that, everybody throughout the pandemic was saying they should have a podcast, which I'm like, who there, Hoppo? Who said y'all should have a podcast? I need to see the receipts of people saying that y'all too need a podcast, because from what I see on the internets, don't nobody like y'all. And they pretty much sick of y'all together. So they want y'all to be together apart. And I'm sure they didn't think of a podcast for you. So I don't know if that's true, but whatever. You like it, I love it. And maybe the iHeartRadio does too, child. So that's why you got the damn podcast. So congratulations. So that's why they call it reasonably shady, because Robin's supposed to be reasonable and Giselle is the shady one, which both y'all ass is shady if you ask me. You should have called the ass kissing reasonably, because Robin always kissing your ass and Giselle definitely ain't reasonably. She'll reasonably accept it. So anyway, Giselle says that they are in business together now and they haven't had any disagreements. But the first disagreement that they recently had is when Giselle talking about keeping people from going to the daggone bathroom. And Robin was like, I wasn't down with that. And so Wendy was like, well, who was not supposed to be going to the bathroom? And then she says, oh, well, you and Karen. And then Wendy was like, oh, well, I wasn't about to come anyway. So, it is what it is. And then they were like, well, why wasn't you going to come? And she was like, well, because I thought the invite was very shady anyway. And if you're not going to let me go to the bathroom, that's even more reason why I feel like I probably shouldn't have come. But whatever, moving right along. So then Wendy said, so Giselle says, well, I felt like you were a hater because you were one of the haters I was discussing in the invitation, because you were talking about my house. And Wendy said, first of all, hate on this? No, I never talked about your house. Correction, I talked about your clothes. I said you're tacky as hell. And they showed a replay of her talking about the clothes, and actually Candace co-signing. So I don't know what Giselle was talking about with somebody talking about her house, because Wendy had never seen her house. So it was no way for her to say anything about her house. So anyway, Robin said, well, why weren't Robin said, well, why weren't you going to come? And Wendy said, because I thought basically, I thought the invite was shady. And Giselle said, well, it's a reasonably shady podcast. So there you go. So Karen pulls Mia to the side because they have like a little break in conversation. They walk up this hill, which Giselle's house, you can only get in and out one way, which is crazy. So she might need to have that put on the demolition list as well, because she got a lot of damn projects going on over there. So Karen pulls Mia to the side and tells her about the situation with where Wendy and a scholar were questioning, the questions that she was asking Miss Dorothy at the video shoot, and how it was inappropriate for her to be asking the stuff that she asked and talking about those things. And so Mia was like, well, first of all, they need to mind their business because it didn't have anything to do with them. And, I just knew Wendy was going to have something to say, basically. So they grab all the candle bags, and Karen goes over and gives everybody a gift bag of her candles, similar to the one that she gave Giselle. And then they sit down, and Robin and Giselle say, you know what? Okay, so we recorded 3 episodes of our podcast, and here's some of the questions that we're going to be talking about on the podcast. So the first question is, and this is as Candace is coming down, she finally made her way there. And so the first question is it reasonably shady to hold on to a grudge after an apology is made? And Karen says it's reasonable because Giselle always apologizes and does the same goddamn thing all over again. So it's really not really an apology if you gonna keep on doing the shit over and over again. So you keep on being shady. It's reasonable for me not to forgive your ass, okay? And the second question was, is it reasonable or shady to talk about your friend when they're not around? And this is when Candace finally makes her way down to the seating area. So Giselle brings up Wendy telling Candace Mia was talking about her. And Wendy says that's reasonable. And Mia said Wendy shouldn't have done that because it wasn't a good idea to do that during the production to throw Candace off. And when Candace shows up while they're talking, Giselle said, we were talking about whether Wendy was being reasonable or shady, shady, or whack. And Candace says, no, she was being a good friend. And I feel like here's the thing. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Candace said that she wasn't offended that Wendy told her. So it can't be shady because y'all don't think it was y'all think it was shady. Like, y'all sat up there and wanted to know all of the questions that Mia was asking Dorothy. So I don't even understand why y'all are sitting up here making this a whole big old thing. As soon as Candace shut it down and said, I didn't see nothing wrong with her telling me and it didn't bother me at my video shoot, then y'all just needed to let it go and dead the situation right then and there. But everybody got to agree with whatever you Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Robin and daggone Giselle say for it to be reasonable, okay? Which I don't get it. So Candace says to Mia that within 5 seconds of meeting her mom, why were you asking her about who pays my bills and what my titties look like? First of all, Candace, everybody know what your titties look like. Baseballs, okay? They're little chocolate baseballs, okay? You don't have any titties. And nobody was talking about your titties, girl, okay? But they did ask about them finances, them coins. Who's paying for this big-ass Taj Mahal house that you done bought for you and your husband? I don't know why y'all needed a big-ass house for just the two of you. And his kids that come randomly, okay? I don't get it. You was good in the townhouse, but whatever. This is picture perfect people living above their means, okay? Just as soon as you get the money, the quicker it'll leave. I'm just saying. But anyway, moving right along. Mia said, first of all, you didn't have anyone to greet me when I got to the video shoot, and I didn't show up. I didn't want to show up for some low-budget event. So then Candace says, your mama's low budget. Watch your mouth. So I'm like, Candace, why you got to be talking about somebody's mama? You just was pissed because somebody was talking to your mother about you. So why would you sit up here and talk about her mother like that? That's whatever. So, of course, Ashley had to chime in because she wasn't getting no camera time at this point, and she ain't have her baby there to breastfeed, so she had to say something. So she chimes in and says, I would have been pissed if I showed up and there was no direction. And Candace says, shut your wide face up, Ashley. First of all, Candace, everything can't be wide, girl. Everything. You called her wide-bodied. Then you called her wide forehead. Then you said wide something to Mia. Wide? Who taught you wide? Because you just been, it's giving overdone. Okay, I'm gonna need you to find another comeback. Which you have been good with the comebacks, but I'm gonna need you to take wide off the list because it's now thin. It has run, the well has run dry and it has run thin. Okay, wide has now become thin, and my patience is thin every time you say wide. Okay, so we're gonna use another comeback. All right, let's do something else. Let's do something else. It's done. It's done. So anyway, Robin says, I don't think it's anything wrong with anyone asking you a question about Chris getting paid, because I was on Juan's payroll and people in hell want ice water, Robin. Who gives a fuck? Nobody asked you if you was on anybody's payroll, ma'am. Okay? Nobody asked you anything that has to do with that. This is actually not about you. So Candace said that she doesn't appreciate anybody asking about her finances and what goes on in her household. So you can shut your thin lips up because nobody asked you anything. Okay? This is where you mind your business. All right? Moving right along. The next question they ask is it reasonable or shady to call your friend to call your friend and tell them whether you like them or not when you're drunk? And then they were referencing Karen apparently calling Robin drunk and saying she likes Juan more than her, which is I'm pretty sure everybody does. And the last question was, is it reasonable or is it shady to be concerned about dramatic changes in your friend's appearance after cheating rumors about her husband emerges? First of all, I knew they was going to try to bring this back up. Like, can you just, this is the horse and it has been beaten to death. Let it the freak go, okay? Y'all, I remember them talking about it on their little simulated podcast when they were, I guess, in a portion of Giselle's dungeon of a house and recording some shit. I don't understand. I mean, let it go. So Giselle says she thinks it's reasonable. And Wendy says, well, it'll only be reasonable if the same blog reported that you had an STD. Oh, my God. Good one, Wendy. Good one. So it's like, it's okay when they can talk their shit about everybody else, but it's not okay when somebody talking about their ass. So Wendy threw that ball right back, that dagger right back over there, and I'm loving every second of it. So Giselle says, well, I don't, saying that she doesn't, in fact, have any STDs, which, girl, okay, whatever. That's between you and your vagina, child. We don't give a damn. And Wendy says, y'all continue to talk about me and it's definitely not reasonable. It's shady. And Wendy says, stop telling me to chill. Robin kept on saying, Wendy, you need to chill. You just talking over everybody and you're being loud and this, that, and the third. And Wendy's like, it's okay for y'all to throw your little jabs at me, but when I respond, it's a problem. That's not cool. And I don't think that's cool either, because it's like with a lot of these housewives shows, it's all about people agreeing with you. Like, you can talk your shit and say what you got to say. But when somebody responds and they don't agree with your shady little bullshit ass comment, then they the problem. No, you the fucking problem. I thought y'all left that shit in Virginia or whatever the hell y'all, in Williamsburg, wherever y'all visited. Why are you bringing it up again? And you knew what happened when Giselle got cussed a new damn tail down there. So why would you bring it up again? And furthermore, didn't y'all just semi-make up over that? So why would you talk about that on your podcast? That further lets everybody know how actually shady y'all been. So anyway, Robin says, oh my God, I'm not going to get through to you, because she's just pissed that Wendy is actually just tearing her a new one with the through tongue. And Wendy says, all I'm saying is, if you all were really concerned about me, you can call me. And Giselle says, no, go ahead. You know what, Wendy, you just go ahead and leave because I'm not going to be disrespected in my house. And then the scholar speaks up and says, Giselle, that's not right because the question y'all asked was disrespectful. And then when she comes back with something, you can't be mad at her. And then Mia says, what are you, the mediator? And the scholar says, I'm not talking to you, Mia. I suggest you sit down with your hoe ass. I'm like, damn, why she got to be a hoe? That's a bit harsh, okay? And then Karen says, I haven't sat up here and got vaccinated to be around you, heifers, to be dealing with all this. And then Giselle says, is it vaccinated or vaccinated? Then Karen says, I got my second shot today, and all I want to know is, are you inviting everybody to the couples trip, Wendy? And then Wendy says, I think we should do a quick jaunt, especially since everyone wants to keep our husbands' names in their mouths. She said, Chris basically inviting everybody to the Eastern Shore. And then she goes around and she says, Chris is going to be there. Michael's going to be there. Ray's going to be there. Eddie's going to be there. She skips over Robin and looks at Giselle and says, and your luggage is going to be there. Oh my God. Not her damn luggage, child. The shade. Okay, now that's shady. Switch your paddle. So then Karen says, my vaccine is kicking in. I got to go. And then Candace says, this was not an invite to your house, and I'm offended. She said that to Giselle. So Candace and the scholar, they try to make their trek up to Giselle's house because Giselle was going to show them the house and show them her closet and her west wing and whatnot. So as the scholar is walking, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and not go into this demolition construction site. I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out of here because I got heels on. So she leaves and goes and sit back with Robin over in the area where everybody had, sat together previously. So Candace is looking around. She's loving Giselle's bathroom, some velvet wallpaper she got on the wall or something. And then she sees her closet. She's loving the inside of the house. But Karen and everybody else is trying to leave, okay? And they're like, hello, Candace, your car is blocking all of us in. So Candace asks Grace, which we know can't drive, okay, if she can move her car. So Grace goes outside. She tells Robin, she's like, I'm scared. Can you ride with me or whatever? I got to move Candace's car. So she goes to move Candace's car so everybody can get out. And she scrapes Candace's tire on a rock going out of the driveway. So Candace notices it when she comes out. Everybody leaves or whatever. And she doesn't say anything. So I thought that was quite funny. And if I was Grace, I'd have been like, nah, not today. Pick somebody else. Not it. 1, 2, 3, not it. But anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.